Hey there, in this video I'm going to step you through how I set up my favorite niche site theme. Now the theme that I use for my niche site is called Bimmer, B-I-M-B-E-R. It's at ThemeForest, and it's different than the one I use at FatStacks. FatStacks I use GeneratePress. The reason I use Bimmer is I think it's got a lot of kind of a nicer look for niche sites. FatStacks more of a business site, but the main reason I use Bimmer is because it has infinite scroll. I may switch FatStacks to infinite scroll, but I'm actually quite liking the GeneratePress, and I don't really. In fact, I think a lot of people would prefer not infinite scroll on FatStacks, but they do prefer it on niche sites. My time on site goes up a lot with infinite scroll, so I use it. All right, what we want to do also is we want to get rid of all these other themes we don't need in here. I want to keep my sites lean and mean, so we're going to delete them. You do that, you just click it and click delete and confirm. I won't do them all in the video, don't worry, I'll do it after, okay? But what we want to do is we want to add or install a new theme. And to do that is we're going to hit upload here, and then I'll grab the theme and then we'll install it. So I grab the theme, Bimmer, ThemeForest, install now. Now this theme has a lot of style functions. Don't get too wrapped up in it. It's something you can kind of just play around with over the next few weeks as you're setting up your site. I don't really sweat it. I just, as you've probably noticed over the course of these videos, I like to get things done fast and get these sites starting to make money and get some content on there. Don't worry about style and design too much. This is a bit of a bulky theme, all right? Now, it has a lot of features I don't use. It's not ideal in that respect. You're looking for lean and mean. GeneratePress is probably the leanest and the meanest theme out there. But I like infinite scroll, and I have tried every infinite scroll plugin. I have tried multiple themes with infinite scroll. Nothing is as smooth or as fast as Bimmer when it comes to infinite scroll, so that's why I use it. So we're going to activate that. I'm going to have to input. This is a ThemeForest theme. Okay, it's different than buying it off a theme developer like StudioPress or my theme shop. Every theme is going to have its own way of installing and activating a license and so forth. In this case, when I work with ThemeForest themes, you ask to input a purchase code here, so I'm going to do that and get this. So I've input the code that I needed to activate the license. Up here is for the Bimmer, the various options I have. To access this screen, you go under Appearance and go to Theme Options. Now, one thing I forgot to do is I also needed to install the Envato Market plugin. And what that does is it allows me to input my code, which will connect it to Envato Market. Envato Market is the company that owns ThemeForest. So when there's a theme update for Bimmer, I can actually get it updated in the back end of my site rather than download another theme and upload it, which was old school. I don't like doing that. So you can go and get the Envato Market plugin, which is free. Just Google Envato Market plugin. You come here, download it, upload it, and then you go here and you will get a code in your Envato account. And it's just go to the settings tab, and it's called a token, and you just put in your token there and save changes and you're done. So moving on with theme options, there's not a lot you need to do here. I've registered, got a dashboard, demos. I go here. I just do not import everything. Do not import. You will end up with a ton of posts and pages and lorem ipsa and images and all this nonsense. You don't want that. You will have to delete all that. Just install the theme options like that. Done. Shares. I don't use this plugin. The theme comes with a bunch of theme plugins you can use. The only one that I add is Media Ace, which allows me to lazy load images. So tracking. Okay, if you want to get your Google Analytics code, you can put it either in the head or the after the footer, whichever ones. This is where all your various tracking codes, whether you use a Facebook repixel, when you want to verify your Google Search Console account, all those codes, they go into one of these two fields. Don't forget to hit save when you've done that. And that's it. GDPR, enable, you probably definitely want this. Advance, I don't do any of that. So there we go. The options are set. Don't worry, I'll show you where we actually do all the design work. That's in a different part of the site. And then we have our Envato Market. So the theme is in. And next up, we're going to customize it. So you go to Under Appearance and you go to Customize. And this is great because this is like the new way of customizing themes. More and more theme developers are integrating with the built-in WordPress customizer. It's a lot faster, and I like it. I like it a lot. Usually a lot of themes used to have their own customizer dashboards inside the theme. I like how it does it here. So all you really need to do is you're just going to rip through each one of these options here, and you're going to set your settings as the way you want it. Okay, you don't have to do it the way I do it. You can do it your own way. You can see you got default colors. We can change all the color scheme and everything else here. But I'm going to just highlight some of the main things that I do just to get sites the way that I like them to run. The colors, that's totally up to you. I'm not going to go through any of that. You're at some point probably going to get a logo, and this is where you would do it. And I typically prefer a little bit of a big logo. I don't know, I might make that a little bit smaller, but you could go with that size. You'd want to give whatever dimensions that you're going to use to whoever you get to create your logo, but there are also logo creators online that you can use. Menus. Okay, well, you can create a menu, and so you would do that. You'd want to create one obviously up here, and then you would, you can have your different categories, or you can have whatever it is you want to link to. Obviously, you might have only 1 or 2 links up here when you're starting out, but this will grow over time. To create a menu, you just go here, and you want to indicate if you want it to show up here, you got to select primary navigation, give it a name. I usually just call it top nav, and then go next. Now we don't have categories really to add any here, but we could add items. So I could add these pages to this menu. We could add, in fact, I would probably actually, now that I come to think of it, I am going to call this secondary. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I'm going to use infinite scroll, so it takes a long time to get to the footer, so I like to put those pages at the top. So we're going to add items, and we'll add this, this, and this. So we've now created a menu, publish. You can see at the very top here, it's pretty small, home, contact, privacy. So now, normally these are found at the footer, but if you use infinite scroll and people have to scroll a long way down just to get to the footer, at least they can access this fairly quickly. Widgets. I'm not going to work. Widgets are basically what are going to be, and so you can have 4 footer widgets, so it breaks up your footer into 4 quadrants. The home, you have a widget, and then primary, I believe that's a sidebar. I usually do the widgets in the widget screen, so I'll show you that. Homepage settings, I just do a latest post. You can create your own page if you want. I just stick with latest post because it's faster. Featured entries, I would do this. Now, none of this is really going to make any sense till you get some content, so just play around with these, and it's going to be really up to your own preferences as to how you want it. Post, this is where we're going to actually input some important stuff. I get rid of this stuff. Popular, you need the popular WordPress posts, which can slow a site down, so I get rid of it. I just get rid of all of this stuff. Okay, use pagination URLs for infinite scroll in collections. Yes, definitely want that. Okay, so that's how I set that up. Single, you can choose the layout you want. I typically go with this one. And you can hide, see by default it shows a lot of stuff. I usually hide stuff. I don't hide that, but I will hide featured media. The author typically, unless I have a writer on there, avatar, date, views. I keep that. Sticky share bar, hide. Enable flying, yes, I like that. Okay. Here is where we do the infinite scroll. Auto load next post. Okay, I'll show you where we got to that because you're probably going to want to look for that. You go under posts, single, scroll way down till you get to auto load. Enabled, yes. From same category, this means only the next post will be in the same category. I like that. Here's where you can put a cap. 0 infinite. I don't want infinite. I usually cap it at 5 so people do ultimately get to the bottom. And then we have you may also like the way you want to show that. You could play around with all this stuff. I've shown you the most important stuff, especially the infinite scroll. It's kind of hard to find. It's buried in there. They don't even call it infinite scroll. They call it auto load, so it's hard to find if you don't know what you're looking for. It took me a little while when I was setting this up. If you do use Bimmer, just Google documentation, and they have a whole set of documentation that you can also use if you need help setting things up. It's not the most detailed documentation, but it's not bad. I'm not going to use a video post format or link post format or gallery archive. You can customize your archives and how they display if you like. Not safe for work. That's not relevant for me. So there we go. We're done with the post. Moving on, search. I'm going to keep that as is. Design. This is where you do all your typography and your colors. So you can change all of this as much as you want. I'm not going to get through that. That's a personal preference. There's really no right and wrong there. Header. This is kind of important because we've got 3 rows. Okay, we've got row A at the very top, A, B, and C. So you want to play around with these. I usually like to get rid of this stuff. Bimmer is a huge theme. It comes with the ability for people to create their own accounts and upload content and become this big user-generated thing. I don't do any of that, so I'm going to get rid of that. I would do that. Where would I do that? They have a builder, okay? Let's see, where is the builder? There's a custom, here we go, builder, okay? So we got to get rid of this stuff, and this is a little bit cumbersome to figure out, which we're on this here. So we're going to get rid of this. Search, I like search. Don't need a cart, don't need a user, don't need a create. Latest, don't need that. That's it. I just want a logo, and I want my top menu bar here. That's all I want. Done. Let's see what the mobile has. Latest I want out of there. Yeah, you do have to check the mobile. Logo. Okay, we want our menu here to show up, our hamburger menu, so that's going to be good. That's it. Publish. That's how our footer is going to look. Don't worry about this little broken image looking thing here. When we upload an image for the logo, that'll take care of it. I'm not going to get around to that for a little while. So we have dealt with the header, the footer, general. I usually do 3 columns, but it doesn't matter. Show back to top. I like these. It's a little arrow at the bottom right that will shoot people right to the top. It's particularly good if you use infinite scroll. Colors you can change. And additional CSS. If you're going to do any additional CSS in your site, you put it here. And SEO breadcrumbs. We've already set that up. That's it. Our theme is ready to go. Take a quick look. I'm going to change the colors of this probably. Maybe I'll go with the red. I don't know. It looks kind of good. It's got a really nice search function. You can just go there. And, oh, last thing, just a sidebar in case you're really new to this. Probably want to get rid of this footer bar here. Probably have to see how to do that. Footer general. Modules. You can integrate like a MailChimp newsletter into this whole thing. I don't bother. Okay. We're going to have to figure out how to get rid of that content that they're showing there. I'll probably get rid of that too. This here, we got to change that around. I think that's under site identity. Here we go. Okay, we want to keep the copyright, want to keep the year. Change your site. Just like I would probably go with a domain, like that. Now we've changed it up. Done. (2020) Cycle Baron. Perfecto. Last thing we want to do, widgets in the sidebar. So we're going to X out of this. We're going to go to the old school widget sidebar. Don't forget, remember, I will be getting rid of the themes we're not using in this site. I try to get rid of everything as much as possible. Okay, so we got primary sidebar, which is your right sidebar. I do like search there. I like to read some posts. Archives I would get rid of. I'm just setting up a sort of a pro forma thing until I actually get more content on here. These things will change as you get more content. Delete, delete. I would get rid of meta too. If you want to actually activate your fixed widget when you're putting in a widget, you just check this box. You want to make sure it's at the very bottom of that particular sidebar, and then that particular widget will be fixed. Okay, should be deleting. It's taking a little while. And categories, we don't even have categories yet, so there's no need for that. I don't even have recent posts, but we'll keep that there because I plan to have some shortly. So we just keep it really simple right now. Once we get ads on the site, obviously there'll be an ad or two there. You have other widget things you could include in here. I typically keep these as simple as possible. Footer. For now, I'm not going to put anything in the footer. What I am going to do, well, you know what? No, that's incorrect. I am going to put one navigation, and I'm going to put our secondary top. That's it. And what this is those contact privacy. You want to make sure these are available on your site. And there it is. It's going to put it there as well as at the top. I'd add a about page and any affiliate disclaimers I'm going to put in there as well. You could put your affiliate disclaimer at the very top here, which is not a bad idea. It's important to be very clear about whether your links are. So whatever disclaimers you need, you can put it right here. I will probably do that. And our site is done. It's blank, but it's done. Now all we need to do is add content. And that would be the next stage. I'm not going to go through that. That's basically publishing articles. But this is how we set up a site. And I hope this was helpful. This is exactly what I do for each of my niche sites. Almost all of my niche sites are the same. Some do have more plugins. That's because I got carried away. I regret it. I wish I had kept them all as lean and mean as this site is at this point, because this is all you really, really need. For my email opt-ins, which I'm not going to do on this site for like fat stacks, I use ConvertBox forms. It's very good. That's obviously important for that site. I don't use it for every niche site. I also use the Lasso Amazon affiliate plugin for a few sites. Not all sites, just where I'm doing a little bit heavier Amazon promotion. So that is the setup. Just before I wrap this up, I knew I was forgetting something. I just had to check my notes. There is a plugin I want to get from the theme that comes with the theme. You won't find it in Theme Directory. You go under Appearance, you come into Install Plugins. I don't use them all, okay? You only use the ones you absolutely need. And the only one I'm going to use is Media Ace. And I'm going to install that, and then I'm going to set it up so that the lazy load for images are going to show up. What lazy load does is it only loads images as people get to it in the screen. Okay, so it helps speed up sites. Plugin activated, perfect. Okay, so then we would go to plugins. Media Ace settings. Lazy load. I think it's checked already by default. Yes, it is. And done. So now the images will lazy load. They're built into the plugin, which is our theme, which is great. If you switch theme or use a theme that doesn't have lazy load built in, there are lots of lazy load plugins that you can use, such as BJ Lazy Load and others. Other bloggers have written about it, so they work just fine. The Short Pixel Image Optimizer does not have lazy load built into it, so don't count on that doing that. Okay. So that's a wrap. There are a lot of other plugins I could use for this particular site, but for now, this is all I really want to use, and I want to keep them as lean and mean as possible. You can go through all of this here to see what you want to use. And oh, I should mention, there's always an and. A lot of little details I tend to forget. I'm not going to put it in yet because I'm not at that putting ads on my site yet, but Ad Inserter plugin is really good. I might as well just put it in and show you. This is how I manage ads. Now, I use AdThrive and they manage it, so I don't actually need this for my ads anymore. So, and this site will go on AdThrive in short order once I get content and a little bit of traffic. But if you're going to use something like Ezoic or AdSense, you're going to need a plugin like this. This is the best ad management plugin as far as I'm concerned. I've used it for years on many, many sites. And it's Ad Inserter under there, under settings. And basically what you have is you have all of these placeholders. Okay, so ad code would go here, and you can indicate that this would go before the content, or after paragraph 2, or after paragraph 6, or after content, anywhere you want, really. On homepage, category pages, wherever you want. It's very powerful. You can even have it show up on just specific categories or excluded on categories, same with tags and so on. So this is a very powerful plugin. helps the name, whatever the block is, so you know which one it is. And you've got 16 to start. If you get the premium version, you can get up to 96 placeholders, which should be more than enough. So this is what I use to display my ads. I'm not going to need it for this site, so I will disable it. But you probably likely will need to use this. That's a wrap. This site is done. This is how I set up my niche site. Keep it as simple as possible and start getting your content out there. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck with your site. I really appreciate that you watched this series.